Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be discussing the newest makeup announcements and releases. So welcome back, and today we are doing my every other weekly makeup news video. So today we'll be discussing some newest makeup announcements that have been made, and as always you will be seeing the images of the releases on this side of the screen. And regarding the launches, I do definitely think that there might be some slowing down now. However, this is something that I have now been discussing in quite a few of my videos when I said that since we had all the holiday launches so early, and now I do know that also the Halloween season, which is not something that is a thing in my country, but I do know that since it's quite big in US and many people still like this spooky season makeup, so that's why there are also quite many of those releases, but also those have also kind of now been launched, and that's sort of already like, if I'm not mistaken, is Halloween like it's at the end of the October, I think it's when it's celebrated, so yeah. So not so many new releases. I also think that most of us are just waiting for our Black Friday sales to begin and seeing that if we can get a good deal on some of these launches that we've been having. But anyway, that's a bit about what I think about the current situation of the makeup market, and let's now get to the products. And by the way, if you hear any noise in the background, I'm very sorry, that's our dishwasher. Unfortunately, I can't stop it just for the time of filming, so we will have to just make do with that. So as I said, we will have to try to bear with the dishwasher on the background. I really should have time putting that machine on, but oh well, we have to deal with that one. There's gonna be a few releases that have been discussed earlier on my channel, but because I think there was so much new relevant information, I usually don't like to bring back or bring up again the releases that I have already mentioned on my videos earlier, but with these few ones that you will see in this video, I think it was warranted, because I think there was some like new information that wasn't available when I spoke about those before. But let's now get to first stuff that I haven't discussed about. So first one was a brand that I was already thinking that is this brand still in business, but Martine Cosmetics, which is it's a European indie brand. I don't remember in what country does the brand operate from, but it is a European indie brand, and they have launched the collection Martine's Circus, and this is sort of a horror themed clown collection, which is definitely not something that I'm a big fan of. But if we forget the horror, like a scary looking clown on the sort of packaging, I do actually like the stuff that's in this release. The palette is a bit of this like primary toned rainbow kind of color, but I do like the gradient, how this goes from light to deep shades. And also I'm trying to see, there's three blush kiss. So are these are liquid blushes that are in this one, and then there's a mousse velvet, so I assume those are the liquid lipsticks that belong to this collection. This is kind of a brand that when the product launches, they truly like launch and then they sell out, and then they don't really bring the products back in stock. So if you are eyeing this collection, I would very much be on the brand's website. Some of this stuff has come to Beauty Bay at times, but because this brand has been so quiet recently, I don't know is this new collection gonna be available there, but at least it should be available on the brand's website. And this is already something that's available, so I'm unsure is this still in stock, but if you are interested, you could check it out and see if you can still get with this one. So while I'm not a fan of the theme, I actually do like the execution of this one. So brow products, which are usually not something that I discuss a lot, because I really don't do my brows unless it's a special occasion. So, but I do think this was something that could interest quite many of you. So NYX is coming out with a dual edge brow pencil, and they are advertising this for precisely filled and naturally shaded eyebrows. And apparently this is supposed to be a very thin sort of end that the pen or this sort of retractable packaging has. I'm not a fan of these slanted tip applicators. I'm a person that if I do my brows, I actually prefer the very traditional sharpenable brow pencil, or the kind of retractable pencil that has a sort of like more sort of a pencil-like end, rather than having this sort of... I'm very sorry about that one. So as I said, the dishwasher is going on, but we continue. So as I said, this is not the kind of applicator that I like on my brow products, but if you like NYX, and I do know that NYX does make quite, how should I say, decent brow products, I do think this is something that you could check on, and NYX does have a quite decent shade range also, so there's most likely a shade for every brow in this line. Okay, then something that we are still not done with the holiday collections. So Sephora Collection, which is Sephora's own like brand, they have now announced their like holiday, own brand holiday stuff, and this is a lot. You will see it on the image, like this is very overwhelming. There's like 2 of these very big palettes, then we have I think a palette that is still big but is a bit more manageable. There's a mini palette, then there are several kind of sets of their lip products. There's sets of their skincare, there's brush sets, and yeah, this is just overwhelming. I do like understand that because the Sephora brands, their products are a bit cheaper than most of the brands that Sephora actually sells, so I understand that it's kind of smart for them to bring these gift sets, because these gift sets are most likely a bit more inexpensive than some of the high-end brands that are sold in Sephora and their gifts. So I do kind of get it why they launched this, but they could have scaled this back a bit, because this is very overwhelming to watch. But if you like Sephora brand products and you might want to check out some of this Christmas stuff, this is available. I checked on a couple of European Sephora's website, and you can already buy them. Okay, then a launch that I did post it on my community tab. So Natasha Denona announced her holiday palette for this year, and it's a midi-sized Roxa palette, and this has been a very, I won't say controversial palette, but there's a lot of like a debate that is this a purple palette with pinks or pink palettes with purple. I still think that it's more of a pink reddish palette with purples, but I can understand why some other people might think otherwise. I was initially very excited about this one. I did actually say in my community tab that I'm gonna buy this. However, after now watching a couple of videos and reviews of this one, I think this might be something that I might ask for somebody else to give me during, for example, Christmas, because some of especially the shimmer shades, especially in the upper row, seem to be very sort of like topper-esque shimmers that don't actually have this sort of very big impact, unlike, for example, that for the shimmers that I have tried in the I Need a Nude and I Need a Warm palette, which are the palettes that I have in Natasha Denona's newer formula. And also some of the other shimmers also in this one. It seems that the like very impactful shimmers are the 2 shimmers in the lower row that you can see in the bottom. But otherwise, a lot of the shimmers seem to be more like these sheer topper-like shimmers that you have to build a lot. So considering that this is a big palette, I can like do with 1 or 2 topper shades, but if you have basically a palette that's full of these sort of more like sheer true shades, that's then something that I'm not such a big fan of. In terms of the matte colors, I actually like the matte color variety. I do think that you have the colors that if you want a pink leaning look, you can do that one. If you have a purple leaning look, you can do that one. I can 100% agree with the critique that considering that this was advertised very heavily as a purple palette, and especially as you look at the packaging, they maybe should have gone with the route of maybe putting more blue toned purples in this one instead of having this sort of like I'd say like true purples and then having pinks. Especially I do think that the 2, like there's the peachy shade and the very red matte shade, I do understand that can throw off quite a lot of people, and for me also that I'm thinking that maybe they could have put some 2 other matte shades instead of those, because they are kind of random when you look at all the other shades in the palette. But yeah, as I said, after watching in some videos now, I'm thinking that this is a palette that I'm probably gonna ask someone as a Christmas gift, because I would still like, I know I will get quite a lot of use out of because the color stories, but because of some of the shimmers here, I'm not sure is it worth spending my own personal money to this one. We are having more 2025 collections already, so I think this is Bobbi Brown's Chinese or Lunar New Year collection based on just the packaging and the like theming of this one. I have to say I actually do kind of like the quad that's in this one. It's a basic brown quad, but I do think that it actually looks quite, the shimmers combined with I do believe that those might be just matte browns in this one. So is this something that I would get if this would be available? We do get most of the Bobbi Brown collections do launch in our retailers, but then there's been some that haven't. So and I do remember that these quads aren't exactly cheap considering that what you're getting, but not probably something that I will buy, but as I said, I can appreciate, I actually do like how they chose the shades for the quad. There's also, I think, a liquid lipsticks that also is included, and I do think Bobbi Brown has been actually launching quite a lot of these liquid lipsticks with their collections lately. So then a purple collection that I am actually more excited about than the Roxa palette. So GlamShop, which is a Polish indie brand, they actually came out with a new collection, and now I'm trying to see what was this collection's name, because it had a, it was, where does it say? Okay, I can't find the collection name, you will be seeing in the description box. Basically, I put the Polish collection name on my Google Translate, and it means purple something, I think is the collection's name, which is very fitting. I think so far this is one of the best collections in terms of execution that GlamShop has launched in quite some time. I think the packaging of the palette looks very refined. The cheek products and the sort of gel eyeshadow, individual potted eyeshadows that are in this one, those are in the kind of cheap, more cheaper looking plastic packaging, but I do still like the colors they chose for the different products and how this collection all has come together like as a whole. I actually like this palette more than maybe the Roxa because of the fact that this is a more muted sort of purple palette combined with neutrals, and that's actually, I think, the sort of more of a makeup style that I have been gravitating towards lately. So I think that especially if you live in Europe and you thought that the Roxa palette was maybe too bright, punchy, pink and purple, then maybe look into this one, because this has still some of the purples, but then it has these sort of matte, sort of neutral matte shades to balance out. And the GlamShop shimmers are very beautiful. I think most of these shimmers, based on the swatches that I see, they do have some kind of duochrome shift to them. And also, I think I read that the cheek products in this collection are a new cream to powder formula, which I know that GlamShop really hasn't done previously. They have had like normal powder, blushes and contours and highlighters, and I do know that they have had liquid contours, blushes and highlighters, so that's why I'm also pretty curious that when I'm gonna order this, because I actually did decide that this is actually something that I will be ordering during like November, and so I was thinking that because also cheek products have a new formula, and the cheek products are actually relatively inexpensive. They are like under €7 per cheek products, which that's like a drugstore price. The palette is the most expensive part of this one, so the palette was 35, or was it actually, yeah, I think 35.95 or something like that in euros, so the palette is a bit more expensive, but it's still not a high-end, it's a more mid-range price for a palette, and considering I think what you get with GlamShop, I do think that's actually a pretty good price. So the only thing that I'm not so interested in are the potted individual gel eyeshadows, but everything else in this collection I think is something that I will be getting, and also the highlighter I'm not getting because that's one of those very icy white highlighters that I'm not a fan of, but from GlamShop this was definitely a hit, and this is a brand that if you especially live in Europe I would look into. Then what are we having next? Okay, this was one of the collections that I said that I want to get back on because now we have more information. So I did already touch upon, I think it was my previous video, that Fenty is collaborating with Arcane. I actually do know now that this is apparently is a Netflix series, so I now know what I'm talking about. And I was in my previous, because on my last video we only had the images of the products and they weren't perhaps good images, so now that I have seen that there's actually also some special packaging with this one, and I was kind of looking at maybe some of the gloss bomb shades. I didn't recognize the gloss bomb shade names to be something that I had seen on the Fenty's like regular line. So I would actually say now that because this does have a collaboration unique packaging also in the makeup products themselves and not only the cardboard packaging, then maybe if you're a fan of this series, this could be good products to get. Also, this has a completely new product for Fenty. There's a highlighter palette in this one, which is something that's not been... Like, highlighter palettes were very in 2016 and 17 makeup YouTube, but in recent years not so much anymore, because I think highlighter is also a product individually something that's not been so in as of last couple of years. But yeah, this is still because the franchise is not something that I'm familiar with, not something that I would buy even if this would become available in our Fenty retailers. But if you're a fan of this series and you love Fenty, some of the stuff does actually have like collaboration specific packaging, so it could be worth of getting. Then something new from e.l.f. So e.l.f. is launching a Camo liquid bronzer and contour, and I did discuss this some time ago that e.l.f. is now quite widely available in our country, and we did get quite a decent size e.l.f. Shelves in our stores. So I assuming we are going to be getting this at some point also. I'm actually currently wearing one of the e.l.f. blushes that is within like similar packaging as the bronzer and contour. I can't make really conclusive comments yet because this is actually the first time I'm wearing the liquid blush. But if at the end of my sort of couple of week rotation when I'm trying the blush and then these are available, then I might actually try this bronzer contour product. Something that I do think is good because e.l.f. has such a extensive shade range in terms of shades and undertones, so I do believe this could be again a collection that I will find a good shade match quite easily. But yeah, there's not anything else available yet. I do believe these are available in States, but I don't think this is yet available in Europe, and because this is e.l.f. these should be quite reasonably priced if you're looking for a new liquid bronzer or a contour shade. This is the second product that I wanted to get back on. So Huda Beauty's holiday collection as a whole has been now announced. I did discuss the palette in my last video because the palette was kind of leaked, and now that I have seen, I'm gonna first touch upon the palette and then I'm gonna talk about the rest of stuff. I have now seen the eyeshadow palette, the Icy Nudes eyeshadow palette in a couple of YouTube review videos because this is now available, I believe, on Huda's own website and in the US Sephora's and also in Canadian Sephora's, if I'm not mistaken. And this looks quite a bit more muted in real life, because why I was very confused, and actually when you still look at this promotional image, I was thinking that this was pretty contrasty because we had the very pale pink shades on the one end of the palette and then the almost yellowy neutral shades, and then we had this sort of cool tone neutral shades in the middle. But and because of the quite big contrast between some of the columns in this one, I was like really thinking that this is looking confusing. Now that I've seen this like more on sort of people actually using this, it's not, the shade differences are not so contrasty. I think after seeing a couple of reviews of this one, I was thinking that yeah, it kind of looks nice, but it also looks like every other neutral palette that I've been buying recently. So yeah, also Huda is advertising this as her last big palette. I'm not buying that for a second. What she's probably gonna do is that because big eyeshadow palettes are not trendy currently, we probably won't be seeing this kind of big palette during the next holiday season, but most likely she's gonna do some revamping and then we will see in a few years time maybe a big palette that has less shades but it's still gonna be bigger than her 9 pans. But as I said, I'm not buying it for a second that this is her last big palette ever. Now that I've gotten the palette, there's some other products. There's this Petri dish looking like gel looking I think this is pH reacting cream blush. Not something, I am not fan of these sort of blushes that turn pink or like the same shade of pink to everyone. She's bringing out 3 new shades of the glosses. I do actually like the sort of peachy nude looking shade. And then the quite interesting, she's bringing her liquid blushes in this sort of brown tone leaning shades, which I do think is actually quite interesting because I think depending on your skin undertone, some of these shades could be a really nice looking sort of like brownish leaning neutral blush, or some people could use these as a bronzer shades. So I think the like high points for me from this collection would be actually the lip gloss and the sort of cheap products that sort of liquid products that she has come out with. But the eyeshadow palette and the Petri dish like cream blush are definitely not something that I'm interested in. Then something very small and cute. So Ensley Rain came out with a Nutty by Nature palette, and this was a very cute 6-pan palette. I do actually like that Ensley Rain is doing more of these smaller palettes because their palettes are quite expensive because of the special shades they include in these palettes. However, I do think that with this palette, I would have liked that they would have done this in the format that they did the sort of summer palettes that had a bit more shades, because for a 6-pan I think there's a bit random. I'm feeling that with the, especially I think the multichromes they chose for this are pretty nice, but I'm feeling that with the matte shades I'm missing some like neutral shades in between, because I do feel that the contrast is quite big, that where we have this pale yellow, then we have this 2 mid-tone, there's the orange and then there's brown, and then we have this very dark, I'm not sure is that a black or a dark brown. So with this one I would be maybe hoping that they would have maybe extended this a bit, but if you like this sort of small 6-pan and you have really wanted to try Ensley Rain, maybe at a more affordable price, this could be a good way to try out the brand. And I do like the scroll cover of this one, this is very, very cute and fall appropriate. Some Halloween, so Glamlite, and I think Glamlite did warn that they are also going to be releasing quite a lot during this Halloween as they did with the last Halloween season, so there's probably still more to come. So this is, I believe, Trick or Treat Glamlite collection, and I'm again not familiar with the character. This is based on, I assume this is one of the other like horror theme, like one horror movie. But just looking at the products, I actually do like this eyeshadow palette. It is a bit on the verge that is it too on your face orange leaning for me, but I do still like this. And I have to say this again is something luckily a bit different compared to all the grey, black, red leaning eyeshadow palettes that they came out so many of during the last fall season. I also think the blush duo is quite cute. The shades are, I think, a bit samey what we have seen from Glamlite before with their blushes. And then there seems to be a nice neutral looking lip combo. I think there's a lipstick and a gloss and a lip liner. There's also a candle in this one, and is that a body butter? Yeah. So from this collection, actually I'm not hating it. I do actually think the eyeshadow palette and the lip combo that this collection has, they actually do look quite nice. Also you have this sort of pumpkin face looking mirror in this one, but yeah, not familiar with the franchise, but again I do like it that they are going a bit differently during these spooky season releases compared to last year's month, because with those it seemed that all of them reminded of each other. Okay, then a Christmas launch that I'm not exactly quite happy of, and I'm feeling that this is more of a accessory launch rather than a makeup launch. So Essence has announced their holiday collection. This is called the Xmas Kisses, and there's very little makeup in this collection. There's this sort of highlighter, blush lighter bar in this one, and then I think there's I think that's a lip, is it more of a lip oil or a lip balm rather than maybe a lip gloss. And then I think there's a bright looking, I think that might be a liquid lipstick. But all the other stuff in this one are some kind of, there's like nail stickers, actually there's a, also I think there's there's a nail stickers, then you have these sort of beads that you can stick either to your face or to your nails again. Then you have these sort of hair accessories, there's a brush, and then I believe there might be a sponge included, but yeah, Essence has, at some Christmases they have done quite well in terms of the collections, but for me this truly doesn't scream like a makeup brand's Christmas collection. But again, this is something that I think is geared more towards like teenagers rather than maybe someone who is in my age, but this is definitely a skip for me. Tarte is expanding their lip products, and considering that with how many lip products Tarte has come out with in 1 year's time span, I'm beginning to maybe lose track a little that are these actually new shades, and I don't know, do they even know with Tarte that are these new shades. But apparently this is extending the Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump No Needle Plump, so this is the plumping version of the Maracuja lip glosses, and as I said, they have now so many variations of this particular gloss range that I've lost track. I'm very questioning much. Didn't they already have these shades also in the plumping line? They definitely have some of these shades in the regular Maracuja line and all the other lines that they have in this packaging, but yeah, I have to say, like, good for you Tarte, but I can't really tell that are these actually like new, because for me this looks like they're every other lip products. Yeah, but if you are for some reason interested in this one, these are available on Tarte's website, and I assume these new shades will also come with their retailers soon. So Florasis, which is a more high-end Chinese indie brand, they have launched a collection, and I do think this is something very different what we are currently seeing, but that's because the Western makeup market is very much in this fall going to Christmas makeup season, and of course in Asia, because they have different kind of celebrations. It's actually a bit like refreshing to see something else. So with this collection they have individual, this almost like muted pastel leaning eyeshadows. There's a cushion foundation, and then they are bringing another of these face palettes. I do know that the 4-shade face palette they have had these in the launches previously. So I can't tell just based on this one image that how much these shades vary from the other shades they have had in their previous face palettes. Currently, actually, now that I'm scrolling, there's actually 2 variations of the face palette, which is good, so they may be catering towards more than one skin tone. The individual eyeshadows, like these are quite basic matte eyeshadows, not something that I'm interested in, and then I think there might have been a cushion foundation, but I also think cushion foundation is something that they have had in their line. I do kind of like this white pink cherry blossom, or actually I'm not gonna say are those cherry blossoms or is it actually some... Oh yeah, I'm totally lying, those aren't cherry blossoms, those almost look like orchid type of flowers rather than cherry blossoms, but they are nice and pink. So I actually do like the packaging of the face palette, I think that's very beautiful, but Florasis really do know how to do their packaging. Nothing interesting in this collection for me, but if you're very tired of these fall and Christmas releases and you want maybe something more spring-esque already, then this could be something to look into. Unearthly Cosmetics has launched Paranormal Plushes. It's a P, not B. These are $16 each, and I do believe this might be a product that is available. Yeah, it's available in limited quantities in their own website, and I think this might be the first like cream type of blush that Unearthly has made, and I do think this is, I have always said that it's nice seeing indie brands expand beyond just doing eyeshadow palettes. The shades are called Blood Moon, Burnt Rose, and Wilted Blossom. The Wilted Blossom shade is actually looking quite nice. It's a nice pinky shade, but I definitely don't need another blush. I have so much blush, and there's more. I know there's more coming in my way, but yeah. This could be that if you want to order from their website, then maybe if you are ordering a palette, you throw this into your cart. And I do think Unearthly's, I have liked their eyeshadow palettes, especially now during this year that they have been upgrading their eyeshadow formula. So I think that if these would come to Monolith shop and there's maybe something else that I'm buying during the launch, then this could be something to throw into the cart. But this is not something that I'm going to be ordering all the way from US separately on their website. But if you're ordering from their website, these could be good products to throw in. And yeah, I do actually like the shades. Also the sort of burnt orange shade and then the bright red shade, those also look kind of nice. Lisa Eldridge has announced lipsticks, and these are currently refillable lipsticks, and I know a lot of people are a fan of this particular brand. I think they do have nice aesthetic, but it's not a brand that I'm very keen to try out because they are quite expensive, and I would have to order them online, and it's just not like, I like my luxury and high-end makeup, but this is not the aesthetic still that I'm going for. This is, how should I say, I'm not a fan of this packaging. The packaging looks bulky, so there's gonna be, you can see I'm gonna post the image version that has the full packaging in the middle. I think they could have maybe like made this bit slimmer because, like, yeah, I can get that if you have a high-end lipstick, then you want it to kind of be something that, for example, if you get this from your purse, then people would see that, oh, what do you have in your purse? Because definitely this packaging will catch in almost anyone's eye. But for me, this is a bit bulky for what I like in terms of my lipsticks. The shades look quite a basic shade range, but I think for Lisa Eldridge's style, this goes very well with the other products that she has in her line. Are these matte or satin-like? I think these look more satin-like, at least based on the bullets. Packaging is made of aluminum and is really refillable and can be engraved. So if you want your lipstick packaging engraved, that's apparently an option. The included lipstick has a creamy texture, is said to feel light on lips, and has a soft, subtle shine and lip smoothing effect. So yeah, if it has a soft, subtle shine, then it's more of a satin lipstick, which is actually a lipstick that I prefer from all the lipsticks that they are. But for me, this is a no for the reason that I would have to order this separately from her website, and also I'm not a fan of the packaging. It's a bit too bulky for my taste. Okay, then a holiday collection that for every year I have very high expectations for, and sometimes those are met and sometimes not, but yeah. So Kiko Milano just recently launched their holiday collection. You can get this on their website already, and if you have a Kiko store, you can get already these on their own store. How should I say? I'm a bit disappointed. Like, first let's go through the products that I was kind of excited initially, but then I saw some initial reviews of this and then I was like thinking that okay, yeah, that doesn't sound good. So I was initially thinking that okay, that there's the big eyeshadow palette, it's very neutral leaning, but maybe if it has the bit like nice quality formula that Kiko has done in the recent eyeshadows, maybe this could be nice. But I did watch a few reviews and it seems that the shimmers in the eyeshadow palette are something that you do actually have to layer quite a lot, which is such a shame because the shimmer formula that was in Kiko's last year's Christmas eyeshadow palette, that was actually pretty good. And also just I don't like the pan design where they have these sort of the pans that are in the middle, those look like something you can fit your brush in, but then the pans that are on the sort of you can see on the like outer side of the sort of palette, those are something that I'm just thinking that yeah, I'm not gonna be able to fit my brush into those. Also something that I was usually like seeing that okay, those blushes look kind of interesting, but warning, apparently the blushes have an overspray, so this is like the whole MAC Cherry Blossom blush case all over again. So underneath the sort of overspray, it is a more satin-like formula, but I think it's quite of a deceiving that if you buy these blushes and you're buying them especially thinking that you're gonna get this very nice glow on your cheek, you're basically gonna have two different results with this one. So with the first couple of uses, when you will get the overspray on your brush, you're gonna have this very sparkly, nice looking blush, but then after the overspray is gone, it's gonna be more satin-like. So actually this is also very bad that if you just prefer to have a more satin-like blush, then you would have to scrap somehow the overspray from the top layer, and then if you like a more true like shimmery or shinier blush, then you're gonna be disappointed after a couple of uses when the overspray is gone. So I really would wish that brands would not do this, that where they do an overspray to the product, especially if it's a blush product that you're gonna probably use for a longer time. They also have these sort of shimmer lipsticks. I know this is a favorite product every year. I actually bought one of these last year. I actually did like them. It's a pinkish shades, I do like it. There's a time and place when I like to use that one. So if you like these sparkly lipsticks from Kiko, especially from their Christmas collection, I would actually recommend these. I'm also gonna give a bit crap to them that apparently the contour stick, it only has 2 shades, and both of the shades based on the website images, they look very light. So unfortunately for those of you who have a deeper skin tone, I'm sorry, the contour stick in this collection, you probably won't be able to use it. Then they have the double-sided eyeliner that they release these in different shades every year. There's a foundation that they release every year. The only thing that I'm kind of interested in is the shimmer trios, but I looked at the price, so the price of the big eyeshadow palette is almost 30 euros, and I was thinking that yeah, that's beginning to be very expensive, also considering how the big eyeshadow palette is, like how this is designed. And the smaller eyeshadow trios, I was thinking that okay, if those are like around 10 to 15 euros, that could be reasonable, but the eyeshadow shimmer trios, those are also like over 20 euros, which is a very expensive. So this is definitely one of those collections that I would maybe just wait and see if Kiko is gonna have some kind of sale soon, that if this is already included in their sale, then maybe get something from this collection. But I do think a lot of these products do seem to be quite expensive for considering that they are made by Kiko, but yeah. This altogether, I had such a high hopes for this one, but with Kiko it's always been 50-50. Sometimes they do very great things and it's definitely worth even paying maybe some extra with these special edition collections, and sometimes it's not so good, so yeah. Colourpop has also launched their Holiday 2024 collection. I'm liking this much more than the Kiko one. Unfortunately, Colourpop is something that of the order from US, so this is probably something I'm not going to be getting. But Colourpop has launched the Frosty the Snowman collection, and I do know there's a Christmas song that they also have a version in our country, but I don't believe they sing from Frosty. They have maybe changed the lyrics a bit, but I do know that apparently this is a popular cartoon or something, because as an European, I have no idea about the character, I just know the Christmas song. But I do actually like the sort of design where it's these sort of cool tone shades mixed in with some neutrals. I do think this is a palette that will fit most likely your more sort of everyday makeup wearer, but also someone maybe who has a bigger collection. They might also get something out of this palette because it's not just a basic neutral palette. There's a sets of lipsticks in this one. I actually do like the lip duos where they have the lipstick and lip liners. They also have a set of their, I think those might be the plumping lip glosses that, because I'm not a fan of plumping products, that's a skip. They also have duos of the Super Shock highlighters. This is actually one of the few Colourpop highlighter formulas that I have tried. That was a long time ago when I did that, but I actually do also like the Super Shock highlighter formula. And then they have also these gel eyeshadows, and oh, then there's a very cute looking makeup sponge that looks like a snowman. So I think this was a success from Colourpop. I'm gonna give them credit. This is a good collection. Not unfortunately something that's that easily available for me, but a very good collection and something that I would maybe eye if you are planning to shop Colourpop for holiday. So Dolce&Gabbana Beauty has launched a gemstone collection, and I do believe I read that this, I think, is Dolce&Gabbana's holiday makeup collection. I'm gonna say this looks a bit kitschy, and I like the gold packaging, yeah, but with the gold packaging combined with the, for example, you can see the lipsticks, they have this sort of jewel toned ends, and also the top packaging of the eyeshadow quad has this sort of a, I think it's meant to imitate ruby or something, but yeah, this is a bit too kitschy for my taste. Like, I get it that they want to go to this like luxurious high-end kind of style, but they might have like, this isn't like sophisticated high-end what I'm usually looking from luxury makeup brands. We now have Dolce&Gabbana available in our country, so I'm very curious to see that is any of this going to be available on the stands, and I also don't have any pricing information, but knowing Dolce&Gabbana and seeing now how expensive their products are, I'm going to assume that this isn't also going to be cheap. The eyeshadow quad looks kind of nice. There's a brown and then there's 3 shimmer shades. Nothing like exciting even for a high-end, but I do think that this is very on par with other sort of high-end luxury brands that do quads, and I can't really tell what their eyeshadow quality is. I would have to try a palette from them. The lipsticks again look more like satin lipsticks. There's 2 reds and then there are two more neutral like shades. The pink looking neutral shade is kind of nice, but I'm thinking that might actually be quite pale. But yeah, keep your eyes out for this one if you're a Dolce & Gabbana fan. But for me, this is a skip so far because the packaging is just a bit over the top for my taste. The last collection of the day, and this is actually not holiday, so Hello Kitty and Wet n Wild did a collaboration, and there's quite a lot in this one. So first of all, if you're a Hello Kitty fan, then this is apparently available. I haven't seen this yet because Boozy Shop is usually a European online retailer that's pretty good at getting the sort of like Wet n Wild different kind of collections, so I don't know is this available on their site, but yeah. Let's unpack this. So there's apparently like 2 kinds of PR kind of packaging you can get. First is in the sort of very cute looking, like, yeah, this is also a bit kitschy, but as someone who actually was a Hello Kitty fan when I was a preteen, I can kind of also appreciate this. So there's this smaller looking, like lunchbox looking type of packaging, and then they have this sort of bigger collection that has the whole range of different products, and then there's like a makeup bag. There's 2 eyeshadows in this one. There's a more neutral pinky looking one that's actually looking pretty appealing, but I have tried a couple of Wet n Wild eyeshadows and I wasn't impressed with the quality. And then they actually do have this sort of a more blue toned purple looking palette, purple like lavender, not like deep purples, but anyway, which is actually I think quite different for what we usually see from drugstore brands. And my gosh, then there's like there's powders, there's lip products, there's liquid highlighters, there's like powder highlighters, there's blushes, and yeah, there's a lot in this one. This is very overwhelming to look, but if you're a huge Hello Kitty fan, then again, I think this is available at least on Wet n Wild's own website. How much is the whole PR box? So the whole PR box cost around $85 US. Well, considering how many products that if you truly get everything that you're seeing on the sort of upper picture, like the upper part of the picture, then maybe that's not actually such a bad deal. Like there's like a full face there, except for like foundation and concealer, but everything else you pretty much have in that. So yeah. So for those of you who are huge Hello Kitty fans, this is also an option, and this is actually again something refreshing. It's not so holiday or fall themed, so if you like your more pastel kind of things, then this could be actually a nice thing to get. I think this was a bit more quiet week. Yeah, we definitely we had new makeup releases, but I think it was quite manageable, and I think you can definitely see that we're now maybe approaching a bit of a quieter time before we're probably gonna see at the around end of November, during the December, we're gonna then start seeing the launches for next year. I think this week was also kind of good that there isn't really, well, okay, there's the GlamShop and then there's the Natasha Denona like palette and the GlamShop collection that are something that I'm eyeing a bit, but still not something that the GlamShop one is definitely something that I will be making an order from in the upcoming week, but the Natasha Denona palette is something that I think I'm still gonna be waiting and seeing how I'm feeling about that one, as I will see that will there still be something else launching, for example, from some of the indie brands for the Christmas that I will want to, that is something will go higher on my sort of makeup wish list. But comment down below, were there any launches in this video that you're planning to buy, or was it all just a meh for you? If you liked this video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications on our future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I'll be seeing you again soon in the video. Bye bye!